Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
So this episode's coming out November 20th, but to show a little bit of a wizard behind the curtain,
Yep.
it is November 4th.
It is.
I am very excited to say that my Christmas tree has been up and decorated for 3 days already.
That's fucking awesome. So I am a little bit behind you. I am jamming out to Christmas music, but we're hosting Thanksgiving this year. That doesn't mean we can't get ready for Christmas. Like, of course, I'm gonna have my shit up before Thanksgiving happens. But we're kind of doing some like in-home renovations. Like we want to get our living room and hallway painted beforehand. So there's really no point in us setting up our Christmas stuff right this second just to take it all back down to paint. So we're gonna paint up probably this weekend, between this weekend and next weekend, get our shit up for Thanksgiving. But we are in the spirit, dude. My classroom is decked out in Christmas greatness.
That was the inspiration, honestly.
Yeah.
I was sitting on my couch and I looked on Facebook and you would post it what you were dressed, how you were dressed, what your kids were listening to, and the PowerPoint that you had made. And I said, you know what? This house feels empty, and it'll feel a hell of a lot fuller with a big-ass decorated tree right there when I walk in first thing every day. And so I did.
Dude, it just makes you feel good, man. Dude, celebrating things makes me feel good.
Look, you've said this a million times. It's okay to like things.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. In a world where I'm constantly doom scrolling, I do have to remind myself of that. Of like, dude, just you can like shit and not partake in this discourse. And I don't partake in it. I just, for some reason, am addicted to watching it.
So let me ask you a question, because I noticed something this year, and maybe... Here's the thing. I never know if I'm noticing a change in the culture or if I have fine-tuned my Facebook newsfeed by blocking the right people. But I feel like when I logged on to Facebook the last couple days, the first 5 days or so of November, that there has been a lot more people being like, motherfuckers, it's Christmas time in my newsfeed than people complaining about, like, what about Thanksgiving? Like, I don't know if people just... realize that they're losing that fight because there's no such thing as good Thanksgiving decorations or like more than 2 Thanksgiving movies that are worth watching. But I feel like this has been
hopefully
the year
soon to be a third, because I'm really looking forward to Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's good.
Me too.
I hope it's good. But my expectations of Eli Roth have definitely, from Cabin Fever to now, have been on a steady decline. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are you seeing the same thing, or have I just fine-tuned my algorithm really well?
I think it's a little mixture of both. I've definitely seen less of the war on November Christmas. But thankfully, I am slowly eliminating those people from my feed because I don't need that negativity.
Exactly.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense, man. Let people enjoy shit. I don't know why we're bothering you. Like, I just like celebrating things. I said it to all my students. I always start off this season by asking, is there anybody in this room who does not celebrate Christmas? And I'll always get a few hands, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's bring in some stuff to represent your culture. So right now I'm hunting for an LED menorah for my room.
Nice.
Because we can't have candles in a 6th grade classroom. Just for reasons, like, I don't understand it, but, but I'm hunting for that. And by hunting, I mean, I just need to go on Amazon and order it.
Yeah. They exist.
Yes, they do exist. They are available, but it's like, I always take it back to, I've said this on the podcast multiple times, Whitey from 8 Crazy Nights, when he wishes, the restaurant owner a happy Hanukkah, and his response is, I'm not Jewish. And Whitey just responds, neither am I, but that can't stop me from celebrating the holidays. Like, I love the feeling of celebration. I love the feeling of excitement, and I'm excited. I fucking love Thanksgiving, but you know what? I don't have a Thanksgiving tree to put up to keep me company until Christmas, or until Thanksgiving, and then it's acceptable to celebrate Christmas. So just let us like things, man.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. That's our final thesis here.
And I'll always go back to, like, if you are the person that is like, oh, it's spooky season at the end of July. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Like, shut the fuck up right now. Like, you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to sit there and say, well, it's not Christmas till December, but you're fucking going to Spirit in August, like August 1st. So,
literally, I mean, the amount of people that's like, oh, it's July 5th, it's time for Halloween. I don't care. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, we're two spooky ass dudes. We're celebrating Halloween 24/7, like 365. So get off our dick.
Like don't get me wrong. I am that person as well, but I've seen a lot of people that are those people coming out against Christmas in November, to where I'm just like, come on, man. Like, you can't have it both ways. Favorite time of the year, September to December, man. I can't.
There you go.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I love
this. And that's the final word. Because Dylan Lyles says so. And Dylan Lyles decided on today's pick, which is a movie I've never seen before. I've definitely heard of it.
God, you had never seen this before.
I never seen this before. So I had to watch it last night for the first time. I was very tired, but it moves. It's a good movie. And that is The Night Before. You know what it was? There was this period in 2014, 2015 where I think we got like 9 R-rated Halloween or R-rated Christmas movies like in a row. Like, I think it was like this, Bad Moms Christmas, Christmas Holiday Party, or Christmas Office Party. Like, there's just like a lot of movies and they all kind of blend it together. And for some reason, this one just like went missed on my radar.
Like every year there was a new one. So like The Night Before was 2015, Bad Moms Christmas was 2017. Which one? When was Office Christmas? Office Christmas Party was 2016. So it literally went like Night Before. Next year we're putting out Office Christmas Party. Next year we're putting out Bad Moms Christmas.
Yeah, it was just a lot. And we've talked about this before, where it's like, I do enjoy a movie like Night Before, and I enjoy a horror Christmas movie here and there. But like when I am like in my full Holly Jolly mode, I do want to watch the movies that are going to make me feel Christmassy and spirited. So while all of those movies were coming out, in my mind, it was all a lot of like, without having seen any of them, I was like, oh God, this is just a bunch of like Bad Santa ripoffs. Like, it's just about how awful and shitty the holiday season is, and it's going to be like a total takedown of Christmas or whatever. And that was what the fact that you love this movie so much was the first time that I thought, oh, maybe it's not that. Yeah. So I did go into this thinking, oh my God, this is going to be some nihilistic, like, isn't Christmas the fucking worst type movie. And you
got kind of the exact opposite.
Kind of the exact opposite. It really, if anything, if I was to compare this to any other movie that we've watched, and it is not as off the rails as this movie, but I would say it reminds me of a very Harold and Kumar Christmas.
I can see that.
Like,
I can see that.
It
I
leans
like this
into
more.
I like
this
way
a
more.
lot more.
But it leans into the stoner stuff. It gets ridiculous at certain points. Like, they're constantly falling into weird situations. Like Seth Rogen's like whole tripping balls the entire movie.
Dude, the
subplot is very similar to like the Thomas Lennon character. Like, there's a lot happening here. I actually think that there is more to compare those two movies actually than like the more that I'm talking. I'm like, oh wow, Harold's debating having a kid in Harold and Kumar. Like, there's just a lot of overlap, but I think that this is more successful and more sugary sweet. I don't know if it'll be a yearly watch. But it might be like an every other year watch.
Okay.
Like, I like it's definitely not like a one and done. Like, it's just one of those ones where I'm like, if I'm having a particularly busy December, this isn't top of, like, I'm not going to be like, if I'm staring at the original Miracle on 34th Street or The Night Before and I can only watch one of them in December, like, Night Before is not winning that. But if it's a Christmas like this year where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just diving head first all in November 1st. Like, on those particular years, I think Night Before is absolutely ending up on the list of things I have to watch while I'm doing that.
So I love that you and I bring two different perspectives to this podcast, and I absolutely love that. because I would choose The Night Before
over that, yeah.
over the original Miracle on 34th Street. That's just because like I didn't sit there and watch all of those growing up. Like I became more in tune with the classics as I got older, because besides, watching Clerks at 11 when I shouldn't have been, I was like, black and white movie bad, like color movie good, like that was me as a child. And then I started respecting the classics and really enjoying them, and I love Miracle on 31st Street, but I would definitely choose this over that. And this is a closer to Christmas feel good watch for me.
Yeah. No, I will say this. One of the biggest signs of how much I like or dislike a movie, I think, is how many notes I end up taking.
Yeah.
And I think I wrote like 8 notes down. Yeah. And it wasn't because I was disliking it. I just like at a certain point I'm like, I just want to enjoy the movie. Yeah. I stopped writing down stuff unless it was something that I was like positive I wouldn't remember. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't remember from the night before when I watched it.
But full disclosure, I like to wake up early and watch whatever we're talking about. Yeah. Usually I'll wake up at like 7. And
if it's a TV special, I'll watch it before we record. If it's a movie, I'm like, I don't want to put that pressure on me.
So I'll wake up and put it on. And this one I wasn't too worried about because I've seen this a bajillion times and I love it. This is a movie that I have seen a billion times and I am still not tired of it.
Are you on Letterboxd perchance?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I want to read you something very quickly because I think you'll appreciate it, and it ties to a previous one of your picks from years ago. So on Letterboxd, when you go into Letterboxd to rate a movie, it'll show you anybody that you follow on Letterboxd's ratings, and it will also show you if they wrote a review on that movie. So I follow Joe Lynch.
Oh shit, nice.
Joe Lynch gave this 3.5 stars out of 5 stars, and he's reviewed it 3 different times.
Okay.
And his reviews go, the first one was, I can't believe I missed this when it first came out, as I loved everybody, all the way down to the director of photography. Brendan Trost clearly watched all of the early Robert Richardson films for this. So seeing it for the first time was like opening a belated holiday gift that you found under your tree on December 29th. Fun, fluffy, goofy in all the right ways. An effective R-rated holiday cacophony with everybody's favorite stoners. Michael Shannon can do anything, it seems. Then following year, he wrote, I'm enjoying this movie more and more every seasonal screening. The chemistry between these guys is infectious. The widescreen camera work is way better than a comedy like this deserves, and the soundtrack is insane. I'm glad I've decided that this is part of my Christmas rotation now. And then the most recent one from last year. This movie grows on me more every single year, especially thanks to the chemistry of the leads and the weird widescreen look of New York City, thanks to Brendan Trost, who is the secret weapon in all of these next-gen Judd Apatow-esque comedies, slowly making its way into my yearly holiday rotation.
Yeah, like the movie's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like from beginning to end, this movie is absolutely gorgeous. And I love a holiday movie set in New York City.
Yeah. You know who Brendan Trost is, though, right?
No.
Did you ever see The FP?
The FP?
Okay, so I'm about to...
No.
Okay, so there is a series of films called The FP that was made by the Trost brothers.
Oh, I've heard of this. This is like the dance battle movies.
Yeah, it's literally it's a post-apocalyptic DDR movie.
What the fuck?
He plays the brother of the main character who dies in a DDR related casualty.
Okay.
Because the movie makes no sense. The movie's about playing every action movie trope.
Yeah.
With the most ridiculous thing. So if you're like, I remember talking because the director and writer of it, Jason Trost, his little brother, is tied into Geekscape pretty tightly. He's been like part of Geekscape for years. And I remember asking him, we bumped into each other at Fantastic Fest and we got lunch and we were talking about the movie. And I said, I have to ask, in your mind, how did your brother die playing DDR in the first movie? And he said, it was the only logical way to get me to the Rambo 2 parody. He's like, I knew that the character had to retire from playing the game forever and be a lumberjack, and that people had to find him and convince him to come back.
And I'll say, I haven't seen these movies, but I have seen like the trailers for
and
these
they're
movies,
shot
and
unbelievably.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're on a list. Like, I do want to sit down and watch them.
I have the first 2 on DVD.
Yeah.
I will happily
Apparently the
lend them
third
to you.
one premiered last year, so hopefully we're getting a release coming up soon.
But if you look at Brandon Trost's his DP credits, like some of the biggest movies of the last 10 years, this dude has worked on. And I think that he's right. I think that Jay Lynch is right. Like, you look at that resume and it is like, oh, this guy literally worked on all movies that are shot better than they had any right to look. You know what I mean? Like, starting with I think he was on Crank, and that kind of put him in the conversation. But he worked on MacGruber. He worked on he worked with the Crank guys for a bit.
Oh,
This is the end.
Popstar, never stopping.
Lords of Salem, which whether you like or dislike that movie, it's the most gorgeous film that Rob Zombie ever made.
That was one we watched this year. Teddy's first time watching it, and I adore that movie now.
Yeah.
It looks so beautiful. That is a great movie to throw on. Now there's a lot of naked women in it, but that is a great movie to throw on and have music playing, and just have it playing in the background. That movie is set in Salem, not New York City. So this movie, The Night Before, set in New York City. Dude, it's absolutely gorgeous. Our 3 leads, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anthony Mackie, and Seth Rogen. I could watch these 3 guys hang out all the fucking time. Just riff on one another. I feel like, minus the amount of drugs that Seth Rogen consumed in this movie, his character, I feel like I've had these weird conversations with my friends all the time. And I feel like I've been in situations like this. I am the loud guy.
No.
When Joseph Gordon-Levitt just turns around when they're playing GoldenEye, just hanging out at Anthony Mackie's house, and he's like, "Remember the party got busted and we were hiding, we almost got arrested because you were too fucking loud." I'm like, oh, I feel that. I'm with you.
You felt very seen. You're like,
yeah. And when he's like, "Remember when you wore that Bob Marley shirt and I asked you if you smoked weed?" And I was like, and he goes, "Yeah, and I didn't even smoke weed. I just liked Bob Marley and tie-dye and didn't see the correlation."
So I wrote that line down because, Dylan, do you know this about me?
What?
So you know that I have never touched a drug.
Yeah.
If you were to comb through
I've
any
seen
photos of me in high school, it is long hair, Bob Marley tie-dye t-shirts, and Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah. I
had no clue until I was older looking at him. I look like the dankest of stoners.
Oh, yeah. I love seeing old pictures of you. It is so good.
And I was oblivious. Not a moment in my brain did I think, I look high as shit right now.
Yeah.
You've been lost in the woods for hours now, stumbling around in the dark. You come around the bend and see 2 people roasting marshmallows over a roaring fire. They see you coming into the clearing and gesture over to pull up a log. Welcome to Campfire Ashes. I'm Paul.
And I'm Jess. Join us as we tell each other our originally written spooky stories around the campfire and then dive into the lore and legends that inspired them. Is it something that goes bump in the night? Is it something menacing lurking past the tree line? Or is it just weird and otherworldly? You'll find it here on Campfire Ashes.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or right here on the Geekscape Network.
Do we want to kind of describe what the fuck this movie is about?
I mean, that's going to be an easier route for you. I mean, I guess it's so.
Yeah.
So I'll try to say how I feel like this movie is.
Go ahead.
I think that it's a film about a group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's parents die in a car accident.
Yes.
And they don't want him to be alone at Christmas time because they're good friends.
So they create a tradition that they all hang out on Christmas Eve. They go out, they have their different hangout spots and stuff like that. And one year, they find out about this super secret, insane party called the Jingle
Nutcracker Ball?
Or the Nutcracker Ball. That's right.
Yeah.
The Nutcracker Ball. The Jingle Ball is a concert that they have around here. The Nutcracker Ball. So that's become like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like holy grail.
That's his white whale, essentially.
To find an invite to this party. Well, like a decade passes and everyone's kind of got their own lives. Seth Rogen's character is about to have a kid. Anthony Mackie's character is a huge football star. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's kind of not going anywhere. Like when the movie starts, he's playing an elf for a Christmas party. To which I'll say, he owns a really nice like studio apartment in New York City with an elf salary. I don't know about that.
So the first big laugh for me in this movie,
is it the face?
Is him trying to do the elf face.
The elf face. It reminded me of the elf face in I'll Be Home for Christmas. When he's like, what do elves look like? Happy. And he's like,
Yeah. It also, more time period appropriate, reminded me of Triangle Face in Your Highness.
That is a strange fucking pull, man. I don't
love
think
that
anybody
movie.
saw that movie more than once.
Oh, I've seen that movie probably 10 times. I fucking loved Your Highness.
That's the Franco Rogan, the medieval one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Good pull.
That's what I'm here for. We did skip over the fact that the movie is bookended by Tracy Morgan narration. Yes. And there is some, I should have written it down. I knew I would forget this. Early on, there is some forced rhymes.
Oh my God. Narration. It's so funny. An orphan.
Yeah, orphan. Yeah, there's like certain ones like that where it's like the pronunciation of the word is such a big swing.
Yeah.
To try to get there. They've decided this is the last year because everyone's life is going in different directions, but they're really worried about Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, Ethan, that like while they have grown, he is like not.
And I feel like you and I can both identify with that character as well.
Yeah.
Of like things changing around us. I don't know about you, but I hate change. So,
I mean, look, until very recently, I was going 17 years being single.
Yeah.
And I was content with that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I am very self-sufficient. I am very happy to be alone for hours. Like, I can keep myself entertained and busy. But there was this element, and it still happens. It doesn't happen as much, but definitely in your 20s. When you are single in your 20s and all of your friends are single, it's great. Yeah. And then 20-year-olds don't know how to juggle relationships and friendships very well.
Very true.
So you have these circumstances where your friend starts dating somebody and then your friend just disappears for like months to a year where you just like don't hear from them. Like, if not for social media, you wouldn't know what they were up to at all, type situation. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening with Ethan, is that he's seeing his friends grow in a way. So when I was at my most depressed, we're gonna get real on this episode. I remember when I was at my most depressed.
Depression 365.
Boy, howdy. I remember pushing away all of my close friends from college. And not in like a dickish way. They would send me invites to hang out and I wouldn't hang out.
Dude.
And it was because like I wanted to be a filmmaker and I wanted to do like this, that, and the other thing. And I didn't want to like follow the traditional path. And I still don't. I mean, obviously I quit a well-paying job to do podcasting full time. Like, I'm a risk taker for sure. But at that time, everybody else was like settling down, having families, like posting about these great promotions and like moves that they were making at work. And I just felt like I couldn't relate and that they couldn't relate to me. Mm-hmm. And that was all on me. That was like it was one of those things where like they were extending the invite. They didn't think anything of it, that I was like, they were like, hey, that's super cool. Like Matt's being Matt. Matt's chasing his dream. But in my brain, it was like, they all probably think I'm an idiot. They all, and I beat myself up over it and shoved them away for years. until like, this is a very quick advertisement for therapy. Like until I like started going to therapy and like working through those feelings of inadequacy.
Dude, just a quick shout out to that. Like seriously, guys, if you need somebody to talk to, therapy is nothing to be ashamed of. Therapy changes lives, man. It's changed mine. As you just heard Matt say, it changed his. Like, if you need someone to talk to, look into it, man. It's good for the soul, for sure.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about our three main stars. And...
Oh, hold on. I'm not done with this fucking tradition thing yet.
No. I just want to make sure that we give a quick shout out to someone because we are giving a lot of praise to these three guys.
Yeah.
Joe Lynch gave some praise to Michael Shannon, who we'll get into in a second. But I got to tell you, the secret weapon in this movie to me, in the few times that he shows up, is Nathan Fielder as the driver of this limousine that's taking them on their magical trip.
Yeah.
Nathan Fielder, if you've never watched Nathan For You, is like one of the most brilliant abstract shows on... And only surpassed by when he did The Rehearsal like a year ago for HBO. Yep. He's just a very weird guy, very monotone. And the monotone way as Seth Rogen is like freaking the fuck out that he just from the front seat goes, chill out, have a Red Bull.
Yeah.
Like he's so good. And I don't think there's any other reason to bring him up. So I just want to give him a quick shout out now because he will absolutely get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, he will definitely get buried over everything else that we're going to talk about.
Okay, so this is the last year. They're worried about Ethan.
This is weird, right? Like, so you can still, it's around Christmas time, so everybody's probably going to be in the area. You can still, like, have this tradition. Why don't we just move it to a different day than Christmas Eve?
Or, like, the flip side of that is, like...
December 22nd.
Here's the thing that I think of. Like... I don't want to bar hop ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a thing
neither.
I want doing.
Nope.
But it's like, you guys can still, like, do something. You know what I mean? Like, the girl that I'm seeing right now, her and her friends, their tradition for the last 15-something years, I think it's been, is the night before Thanksgiving, they all sit down and watch every Thanksgiving special from Friends. Like they make
awesome.
They make food and they just sit and they enjoy it. And it's like, now like they have kids, they're like married, like whatever, but it's like, no, this is the tradition. This is the thing that we do. And it's like, when you're doing a thing like that, like the kid's going to be in bed by the time they come over. You know what I mean? Like it's like you don't, so it's like, maybe you can't like gallivant around New York City until sunrise anymore, but like there's no reason why you can't. And it seems like at the end of the movie they figure it out.
They figure that out. I have like something similar that I do. Usually the week school's gonna let out. Usually like 2 days before then. We always set it up every year. It's not the same date, but I go to a brewery in Cambridge, which is like 45 minutes from me, and I meet my buddies Jason, Steve, and we just hang out. And like a lot of them are married with kids, and it's like you can still hang out. So I just, anyone that's feeling the way Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character feels at the beginning of this movie, there are solutions to this.
Now there are certain things that have clearly become so important to New York City as a whole that they have to do. Like they obviously have to go to their karaoke bar and do Christmas in Hollis at the bar every year.
It was great.
I actually wrote down, Dylan, should we be doing Christmas in Hollis at karaoke together with synchronized dancing?
Yes, and different Christmas sweaters as well.
Like I do love that their Christmas sweaters represent their personalities.
I know that some people have issues with Seth Rogen and he can be obnoxious. I fucking adore him in this movie.
I think this is his, and I think I saw someone else write this. I think it was Elric Kane, who didn't love this movie as much as Joe Lynch. He gave it like 2.5 stars. But he said, like, as far as I'm concerned, this is still one of the greatest comedic performances in Seth Rogen's career. Like,
easily.
Like, he is just given 100%. One of the funniest line deliveries is not even a funny line. It's the way he says it, which is when he is, like, fully stoned.
Yeah.
he just got out of the car with Michael Shannon, so he's even extra stoned from like smoking the weed from Christmas Present.
Yeah.
And they wake up the mom of Chris.
Yes.
And they're having dinner. But like he's like, Merry Christmas, Mom, and like Ethan comes out just like, Ethan, he's like, Merry Christmas, and then Seth Rogen's just like, Merry Christmas. Like,
it is
like so panicked and
good.
so loud.
So to set that up, like his wife, played by Jillian Bell, who also I feel like is amazing in this movie. I love Jillian Bell when she's toned down.
Can I say a hot take?
Yeah, go for it.
I think that everyone is on their best performance in this movie except Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't know what it is, but the voice that he has chosen to give the character of Ethan doesn't work for me at all this entire movie. And it doesn't hurt the movie, but I'm like, man, just talk like yourself. Like you didn't have to create a different character for Ethan. Like,
yeah, he does kind of seem. He also seems a little bored.
Yeah.
Out of the whole thing.
But I don't know if he's bored or if he's just like, oh, this is a character choice for this particular character.
Yeah, I'm depressed, so I'm going to play this character as if he is sad the entire time.
Yeah.
So Jillian Bell, who plays Isaac's wife, Seth Rogen's wife, is pregnant with their child. And for their last, like, hurrah, she gives Seth Rogen a box filled with drugs. Of various types, and Seth Rogen proceeds to continue to get fucked up, and I love that his solution is to take more drugs.
Well, his solution was that he's too high on the mushrooms, so cocaine will bring him down.
Yeah, the cocaine will balance it out, and then he gets in the limo and he's like, "I'm gonna take more mushrooms. I was happier when I was on mushrooms." And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character just goes, you could just stop taking drugs right now. He's like, no, the mushrooms will help. The mushrooms will help. And that leads to my favorite bit is when, like, they're looking at him and they're like, you look crazy right now. He's like, I'm not crazy. Do I look crazy right now? And they're like, yes, you look crazier. He said, you need to check yourself before I what? Before I wreck myself? You need to check yourself before I riggedy wreck myself? How's that make a person feel?
It's all so good. It's so funny.
And then they get a phone call from another player on Anthony Mackie's football team asking them to buy him weed, which, no. You play football, you could probably find your own weed.
Yeah, well, I feel like Anthony Mackie's character and storyline is the one that brings me down the most in this because it's all like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like it's hard to follow. And I feel like this is a problem in a lot of movies where it's like Ethan's character. Anybody watching this movie can relate to Ethan's character.
Yeah.
He's gone through a loss. Holidays are tough. He loves his friends.
Yep.
Like Seth Rogen's character, easy to relate to. Like wants to have a baby, whatever. Anytime that a movie tries to make us relate to superstar athlete with crazy fame and like Instagram following, it's just like, how am I supposed to connect with this? How am I supposed to relate to this particular character in this storyline? I feel like it's all like unresolved. Like this other guy on his team calls him for weed, but he doesn't actually need weed because he's got like an overwhelming amount of weed when they finally when they get to the party, and like he's only popular because of steroid use, and like and like that never really gets resolved. It's just like, I use steroids, what of it? And then like end of storyline.
I don't know a lot about steroids, but I'm pretty sure that like it's not like the go-go juice from Space Jam. Like you still have to have some semblance of really good athletic ability.
Exactly.
For it to do anything for you. So I'm sure he was a good ball player before the steroids use as well.
And then just like them making fun of him for like doing Christmas and like there's just so many, like everything tied to his storyline.
It's weird.
Is weird and doesn't work.
And
even like the fake super fan who like I love Broad City. So seeing Alana show up was like very exciting. But it all is like I had an easier time, slight spoiler, if you're this far into this episode and you haven't seen this movie yet, I think that's on you.
Please go watch this movie. It's fucking great.
But like her showing up and like making him appreciate his friends felt more forced than finding out that Michael Shannon is an angel sent from Santa Claus.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. I would also say that every single bad thing that happens in this movie is Anthony Mackie's fault.
100%.
Like they leave the bar and they should be on their way to the Nutcracker Ball. Like they got the address at 10 o'clock. They should be on their way. And it's not until he gets the phone call to get weed that everything goes wrong. And then so they go to get weed. And that's when we meet Michael Shannon's character, who was their drug dealer in high school. And Michael Shannon is a gift to this world. Like, seriously, that dude can do pretty much anything while also playing the same person. It's so fucking good. I don't know what it is, because most times you would look at an actor and go, okay, you're very one note. Like, that's your shtick. But I feel like Michael Shannon can take that shtick and make it work for any character that he is playing, whether it's the FBI agent in Boardwalk Empire, the evil scientist guy, whatever, from that movie where the lady falls in love with a fish.
Yep.
There's and then
Shape
this
of
movie.
Water.
Yeah, Shape of Water. Thank you. And then there's this movie where he's playing a drug dealer, but spoiler alert, he turns out to be an angel or Jesus. Like it's kind of both.
Which raised so many questions for me that I don't think I'm supposed to ask.
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to know.
I'm like sitting there like, so was he an angel since high school, or like did he die and is like now being reassigned to be this? Like, I shouldn't have questioned it.
His take is, I'm gonna fuck with these guys as well. Like when Anthony Mackie gets in the car and he's like, I'm gonna give you something good. Is the present, and he just fucking sticks his fingers in his face and just starts fucking closing them. And he's like, what the fuck does that mean? And he gives him the weed and he's like, is something supposed to be happening? He's like, it is. You're in the present. Oh my god. And then when he shows up again, like the Seth Rogen bit, when he's like, I'll go this time. And he goes out and he gets in the car, and the first thing Michael Shannon says is, 5-0, you're under arrest. He's just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? It's so fucking good. And he
so monotone when he says it too, which
he
makes
just touches his
so
face
funny.
And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm looking into your soul. And he's like, I got exactly what you need. You need a full indica strain with a good body high and frighteningly accurate visions of the future. Damn, it's so fucking good.
There's one thing that we bypassed that I do need to give a quick shout out to.
Okay.
And it's not so much the scene, but it's something that the scene brought into me again.
Yeah.
Which is that they do the big parody with the giant piano.
Yes. Yeah.
Where they play Runaway by Kanye West. And it was just a reminder once again of, God damn it, I hate how much Kanye has ruined my ability to enjoy how many bangers he had for those first 4 albums. Dude. Runaway is like top of the pile, one of the best songs that's ever been composed, and he had to go ahead and...
Dude, that's one of the greatest albums ever written. Like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is an amazing record.
Like, the feeling, like, I felt something in my soul when Seth Rogen just starts hitting that piano note, and I was like, oh no. Like,
and it's so good.
It's so good.
It sucks. Well, like that, so there's 2 instances in that. The second instance is when a guy named James is sending his dick to Seth Rogen, who has accidentally switched phones with Mindy Kaplan's character.
I think you combine names.
Oh, yeah, Mindy Kaling. Sorry, I combined Lizzie Kaplan and Mindy Kaling.
I was like, wait a second.
My bad.
For a second, I was like, have I been pronouncing that last name wrong this whole time? And
then
I was
like,
nope.
Both are also amazing. There's just... Listen, if you can't tell how much I love this movie, we are 40 minutes in, and I have so much on my mind to still say that I'm like, fucking stop. Like, you can't... I adore this movie. But that part does make me uncomfortable, I will say. But I like on the same time, I'm laughing really hard when Seth Rogen just goes, "Well, Isaac, looks like you're sucking your first dick."
Yeah, like, dude, that voiceover, I said that exact quote to the girl that I'm seeing because she talked about how this is her, like, one of her favorite Christmas movies.
Good.
And I was watching it, and I literally sent her, "Well, Isaac, it looks like tonight you suck your first dick." Like, him being so confused.
Funny.
But also, like,
Also, when a grower and a shower.
Yeah, when James Franco shows up, before he even shows up, when he's having the conversation with Mindy Kaling, she's like, "So, like, do you think I could handle it?" He's like, I'll be honest. When I looked at it, I wondered, could I handle it? And then it's like he is so much more in love with Seth Rogen.
I hate that some of the moments that I love are soiled by people in real life. Because fucking when Mindy Kaling looks at James Franco and goes, "I think you might be gay," and he's like, "Not tonight, I'm not."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay."
There
it's
was
so fucking good.
Jose, I need to double check this now. There was something in the IMDb trivia that I was like, this is a weird fucking thing to have written in the trivia for this movie. And it was about James Franco in this film. So one quick thing, and I think that this does kind of show, director Jonathan Levine, who, like, dude's career is fucking wild. Like, the movies that he made, it's like 50-50, Warm Bodies, this. But he said that all of the comedic parts of the movie were improvised, but all of the dramatic parts were, like, meticulously worked out ahead of time.
I can see that.
And I think that makes sense. Like, I could see a lot of the Seth Rogen stuff specifically being, like,
I would love to
more
watch
in the moment.
A lot of the alternative takes and just see, like, what was some of the other stuff that was brought in. I don't know if, like, the Blu-ray has any of those, but I think that would be a fun watch.
So it says, the character James, played by James Franco, shares many of Franco's personal attributes that have been sensationalized by the media in the past. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I would own that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Because I feel like that. Yes, I feel like these two were talking, but I really do feel like that first dick pic was unsolicited.
Yes, very much so.
Which, again, if you know anything about James Franco, that's apparently happened in real life as well. So,
I mean, I feel like there was some conversation in advance just because when Lizzie is calling Ethan, Mindy Kaling's character is like panicked. She's like, "There's very sensitive information that's going to be coming to that phone."
Yeah.
So, like, I think that there was a pre-planned sexting time, but
probably
still like crazy start to the conversation. It's just like, here it is.
So we have Miley Cyrus at the end.
Miley Cyrus at the end. Also, I would put in the lower actor category with Joseph Gordon-Levitt of, like, kind of sleeping through her scenes for most of the part.
Yes. Acting and the only scene she has that she isn't singing, she is acting opposite of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So it's great. We have a very sleepy scene. Oh my God, dude. I skipped over the greatest scene in this movie, and that is when Seth Rogen talks to the nativity scene.
Oh my God, that scene. Can we just say that is the creepiest nativity scene I have ever seen? The faces on these characters are horrendous.
That the entire from the moment he starts talking to the nativity scene to the moment he runs out of that church, comedy fucking gold. Like, it is so goddamn good. He's talking to the nativity scene. We've got a very, like, James Woods impression, like, talking back to him as Joseph, and it's just so fucking good. And then his wife catches him. He walks over and he's like, "I'm just talking to fucking what's the guy's name?" Like, I don't know.
He gives him a totally different name.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just talking to Neil and his
Spencer.
Spencer. I'm just talking to Spencer and his kids, and it's the fucking shepherd with the fucking lambs, and they just go, "Hi." And so her family comes out, says like, why don't you come into church? And instead of him going no, he's like, yeah, why don't I come in? Like, let's go. And his wife freaking out.
This is where like I've realized that a reason why I avoided a lot of these movies is that like there's scenes like this where it's just like my anxiety and tension is so fucking high because I'm like, I don't mind if you just like make a fool of yourself. But it's like, oh my God, like you're like everybody has to deal with this now.
So you are identifying in that instance with Jillian Bell's character, like,
and the whole family. Oh my God, I'm sitting as Jillian Bell, like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Like,
dude, I fucking love when he goes, do you think they know I'm Jewish? She goes, yes, you're wearing a fucking Star of David on your chest. He said, I think I'm gonna throw up. No, swallow it like a girl would.
It is
we did not kill him. Oh fuck, this movie's so goddamn good.
It's really good. You know what? I changed what I said. I'll watch it again next year.
Yes, dude. So like that's what I was kind of getting at earlier. I watched these before we record, and when you texted me and you were like, hey, I can record 30 minutes earlier, I was in the middle of watching it. And this is not a movie I need to rewatch, but I went back and forth. I was like, I almost want to move this to 10:30 so I can finish this motherfucker. Like, I said to Teddy that I'm like, I think we should watch this tonight. I know I got halfway through it, but this movie is so good. It just makes me feel good. It's got heart. It's got so much heart.
Here's a weird thing to say. For it being a movie about Christmas Eve, I feel like it's a great November watch.
Yeah.
It's a great, like, getting your feet wet for Christmas time a little bit. Like, being like, all right, it's almost time. It's almost time. We're almost there. Like, I don't know, man. I'm ready. I don't think I've been ready for the season as hard as I've been this year.
Can I ask you a question that we used to do every week on this show, but sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. Did you cry?
I did not.
I did.
I got close
every time I watch and we get to the scene where Joseph Gordon-Levitt kind of breaks down about his parents passing at the end. That part always gets me.
Again, this is where I couldn't get past how I didn't like the way that his character's voice, because when he's yelling at the two drunk Santas, I'm like, I love everything that he's saying, but I hate the inflection of his voice as he's saying it.
Jason Mantzoukas, though,
so good,
steals that part.
Oh, 1,000%.
I teach third grade, bitch. I shape our nation's youth. I always record that part and just send it to all my teacher friends as he's like beating the shit out of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's so fucking
but yeah,
good.
his speech there where he's just like, if you're gonna dress like Santa, it's a very sacred thing, and like you have to fucking respect. Like, it's like, and like I agree with everything he's saying. I just hate Joseph Gordon-Levitt's attempt at a New York accent so much.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest issue with, what was that movie where he was addicted to sex? It was him.
Oh,
and
Don
Scarlett
Juan.
Johansson. Don Juan, yeah.
He can't do voices. He needs to just talk like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, really.
Because otherwise he's great. Like,
yeah, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Like, all in all the time. Dylan, thank you for exposing me to this movie.
Dude, I could not believe that you've never seen this movie, because like I would watch this movie and I feel like you and we do have similar tastes when it comes to R-rated like Christmas comedies. We talked about Bad Santa, and Bad Santa's fine, but if I'm gonna watch something like this, it's gotta have heart. And I feel
Bad Santa is literally like a once every 5 years watch tops for me. Like, I can't do that movie every year.
I feel like in this movie there's so much love for the holiday.
Yeah.
There's love for the reason behind the holiday. The music, like Joe Lynch is not wrong. The soundtrack is so whimsical. It's so fun. Everything about this movie just puts a smile on my face. And I'll watch it every year, and a lot of times, multiple times a year, just because I want to feel better.
I forgot that there was one other thing that jumped into my brain that I was kind of like, I expected this to be a bigger plot point. There's seems to be no ramifications whatsoever for Joseph Gordon-Levitt stealing 3 tickets to this very exclusive holiday party. Like, I kept thinking, like, oh man, that guy's like, when I hit play, I knew nothing about this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he
That
stole
guy's
from
gonna
like
be
the
pissed.
yeah, like he stole from like the wrong dude. Like maybe this is like them on the run from the mob. Like who knows like what fucking power this guy has that knows about this party. And as far as I know, dude didn't even notice, probably wasn't planning to go to the party. Like,
I mean, also, like, how will they ever find Joseph Gordon? He's a fucking elf. Like, and I don't even think they'd probably get more mad at the girl that took his jacket.
Yeah.
Than Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But I get that. But
yeah,
I
just was like, man, I can't believe this didn't come up ever again. Like, because especially when he was like not admitting how he got them at first, and then he's just like, all right, fine, I stole them. Like, I was like, okay, well, then now I'm really confident that this isn't gonna happen. This isn't going anywhere.
Like, we're just gonna move past that.
Well, Dylan,
God, so good.
There's no other person I would like to spend the night before with than you.
Oh my God, I love you, dude.
Not your strongest ending.
Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holly, have a great, great, great holly, have a merry, 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 happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.